I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. A lot of fans swear these events feel like copy-paste weekends. Same stalls, same guests, same schedule, same everything. And yet the halls still fill up. So what's really happening behind the scenes? By the end of this video, you'll know what to expect, what to watch out for, and how to protect your wallet and your weekend. Let's start with what the show actually is. What Norwich A&G Con is in plain English. Norwich Anime and Gaming Con is one of Anime League's traveling two-day city conventions, anime, cosplay, gaming, light panels, meetups, and a dealer room. Tickets and lineups roll through familiar pages on Eventbrite and the event's own site, with dates at the UEA Students' Union and the usual mix of traders, performers, and community-run activities. If you've glanced at any AL CityCon page, you'll recognize the template immediately. Here's the key: the format is designed to be reproducible. That's good for consistency, but it's also why veteran attendees say Norwich feels identical to the last city and the next one. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Across posts, threads, and videos, one theme keeps coming back: these city shows blend together. You'll see familiar rails of plush, blind boxes, posters, enamel pins, mystery bags, a couple of VTuber-style guests, a maid cafe or karaoke hour, and then Deja Vu, the bright spot many call out, Artist Alley. Independent artists often bring the most original work in the room, and locals come specifically to support them. That contrast, mass market stock versus original art, makes Artist Alley feel alive even when the main hall doesn't. To be fair, not every review is doom and gloom. A family-focused write-up in 2023 framed Norwich as a welcoming starter con for kids, a low-pressure way to dip toes into cosplay and gaming. If you're new, that entry point vibe can outweigh repetition. If you're 7 years deep, you feel the template. But sameness is only half the story. The other half is who's actually keeping these shows running, the volunteer engine, and why it sparks drama. Anime League runs on volunteers, crew assigned to teams like registration, stage, or games. The official pitch: you'll help manage queues, fetch kit, keep areas tidy, and report to a team lead who looks after you. That's standard across fandom events, and when done well, it's how smaller cons survive. Where Norwich veterans push back is the execution. Repeated attendee accounts describe blue shirt volunteers covering areas they weren't assigned to, stepping in without proper training, while higher tier staff, often identified by different shirt colors, seem disengaged or, at minimum, stretched thin. The result is classic ConOps chaos: mixed messages, long pauses when something goes wrong, and a handful of unpaid volunteers doing triage all weekend. Those are first-hand posts, not official records, so treat them as allegations, but the pattern shows up again and again. And when people raise those concerns publicly, that's where the online fireworks start. Post it, and it disappears. The moderation problem. A recurring claim in the UK cosplay scene is that negative comments about AL-run events vanish, blocked, pruned, or buried when posted under official announcements. Creators who've tried to document issues have resorted to long-form videos and interviews because short posts don't stick. Whether you see that as reputation management or heavy-handed moderation depends on your tolerance for corporate polish. But either way, the perception that criticism gets nuked fuels more criticism. It's a feedback loop. Now, does every complaint deserve to live forever on a con's socials? No. But when fans expect deletion, they take their stories elsewhere, and the narrative slips out of the organizer's hands. That brings us to the most sensitive part of this video: duty of care. Under 18s, party culture and historical red flags handle with care. Some of the most serious posts out there don't focus on merch or queues, they focus on welfare. We're talking historic accounts about 16 pause events where the line between PartyCon and SafeCon felt blurred, plus concerns about accommodation choices and supervision. These are older discussions, and they are not court findings, they're accounts and opinion pieces, but they're part of the public record of how people talk about AL. As viewers, the smart move is to read widely, weigh sources, and notice what repeats over time. If you're a parent or a first-time teen volunteer, your checklist should be practical. Who is my direct supervisor? What are the rules around alcohol? How is rooming assigned for minors? What is the escalation path if I'm uncomfortable? Those are fair questions at any con, and getting clear answers before the weekend is basic safety, not drama. Okay, you're thinking, but what about the dealer's room? I heard the word bootleg more than once. The bootleg issue and why you keep spotting fakes. Let's separate two things. First, there's the Norwich rumor mill fans saying, I saw fakes everywhere. Second, there's the wider UK reality trading standards teams literally seizing counterfeit toys across the country this year, especially during the Labubu craze. When counterfeits flood the market, they don't just live online, they leak into physical stalls wherever oversight is weakest. That context explains why shoppers are suspicious, even if a specific con swears it forbids bootlegs. So what do? Follow the boring, effective checks: packaging quality, CE or UKCA marks, importer info, QR and hologram when relevant, and price sanity. Trusted guides walk you through the tells: paint quality, misprints, wrong logos, too good to be true bundles. If you can't verify, walk away. Your future self and your shelves will thank you. If you're still with me, you've probably been to a few of these weekends, so let's talk value for time and how to make Norwich worth the trip even if you're jaded. Veterans say the average Norwich loop can feel like 30-60 minutes of stalls and a couple photo ops. That's not inherently a failure, it's a mismatched expectation problem. If you go in expecting MCM scale spectacle, you'll be disappointed. If you go in with a plan, artist commissions, a cosplay meetup, one panel, one game tournament, you can stitch together a solid afternoon. That's how locals and families get value from a compact show. Here's my mini itinerary that actually works. Arrive early, sweep Artist Alley first, commissions go fast, hit community panels over main stage filler, schedule one photo shoot slot, and set a firm merch budget with a bootleg checklist. Then bail for a late lunch with your group. You'll remember the hangout more than the haul. If you're thinking about volunteering, go in with a plan, not vibes. Before you accept a shift, ask 4 simple questions. Who's my direct lead? What exactly am I responsible for? Where do I go when something's above my pay grade? And what's the written policy if I'm uncomfortable? If those answers come back fuzzy or we'll figure it out on the day, that's not a plan, that's a risk. Good crews brief you, shadow you, and check on you. Great crews pair you up for the first hour and show you where radios, quiet rooms, and water stations are. You don't need a limitless tolerance for chaos to be part of the team. You need boundaries and backup. Make your own micro safety net. Keep a pocket notebook with your lead's name, ops desk location, and a second contact in case your lead disappears. Note breaks and agree them in writing. Text messages count. Hydrate, eat, and sit whenever you can. Long stints at doors or queues drain you faster than you think. If you're reassigned on the fly, confirm it with your original lead by message so you're not blamed later for abandoning your post. If a situation makes you uneasy, you don't have to debate it mid-incident. Say, I'm escalating to ops now, and do it. Your job is not conflict hero. Your job is safe, sustainable help. If you're under 18 or brand new, add 2 extra rules. 1, no after-hours plans without a known safe buddy and a clear curfew. 2, if anyone, attendee or staff, leans into oversharing, banter that crosses lines, or gifts that feel like a transaction, shut it down with distance and documentation. You're allowed to be friendly and still keep your space. Real teams respect that. Some signals tell you a lot before the doors even open. Green flag, a public, easily found code of conduct with a step-by-step reporting flow and specific examples. Red flag, vague rules like don't be inappropriate with no definitions and no names for who handles reports. Green flag, pre-event volunteer briefings with Q&A, printed maps, and phone numbers. Red flag, we'll brief you on the day followed by a hallway pep talk and vibes. On the floor, keep scanning. Green flag, visible water stations for staff, radios actually being used, leads checking in on rookies. Red flag, thirsty blue shirts, doing 3 jobs while senior shirts hang off to the side, disengaged or chilling through the heavy lifts. Green flag, consistent ID checks at bars and clear wristbanding. Red flag, don't worry about it. Energy around alcohol or an everybody's in the lobby party with no obvious boundaries. Green flag, vendor standards posted at registration and spot checks happening. Red flag, repeated stalls with too good to be true deals and no one inspecting anything. Online, moderation sends a signal too. Green flag, critical comments answered with timelines, fixes, or DM us and we'll log this. Red flag, wholesale comment nuking with no acknowledgement. Not every event has the budget of a megacon, but basic accountability doesn't require a six-figure ops team. It requires will. If a post you wrote disappears, don't panic, post 12 more. Document once, clearly. Keep screenshots, note the time, and write a short, neutral summary. What happened, where, who was present, what you needed at the time. Then use channels that generate a trace, email, contact forms, even a letter to the venue's event manager. The goal isn't to win a comment battle, it's to create a paper trail that responsible people must address. Be specific about outcomes. Do you want a refund for a VIP perk that never happened? Safer staffing on a particular stage? A review of a vendor's goods? Ask for the thing you actually want. If you bought something you believe is fake, keep the receipt, take photos of packaging and defects, and contact the seller in writing first. If that fails, talk to your bank about chargeback options and notify local consumer protection where appropriate. You don't have to blast names on social media to fix a problem. Quiet, documented steps often get further faster. If you felt unsafe, report it to the event and the venue and keep your message factual and calm. You're not required to relive every detail publicly to be taken seriously. If you're under 18, loop in a parent or guardian immediately. If you're a parent receiving this report from your kid, believe them first, then help them write it up. That alone teaches them how to set boundaries that last longer than one weekend. Counterfeits love busy halls and distracted shoppers. So slow down. Check the obvious: box art alignment, typos, wrong logos, missing importer details, or safety marks that look printed on after the fact. Compare prices against the manufacturer's site or big retailers you trust. If a limited figure is half price everywhere in the hall, that's a signal. Open your camera. Do the colors look washed? The paint sloppy? The face slightly off? That's another signal. Ask the stall for a business card and returns policy. Reputable traders don't get mad when you ask. They welcome it. Keep receipts, paper or digital, no matter what. If a seller refuses to provide one, walk away. For prints and pins, prioritize the artists themselves. You'll get originality, quality control, and someone you can actually support again. For imported snacks, check ingredient labels in English. No label, no sale. And please, never let fear of missing out force a bad buy in the last hour. If you'll regret it on Monday, skip it on Sunday. Start by shrinking the mission. A compact event isn't a theme park, it's a hub for moments. Pick 3 anchors: 1 artist to commission, 1 community panel to attend, 1 cosplay meetup or photo shoot to join. That alone fills 2 hours with heart, not just merch. Add 1 side quest, a retro game you haven't touched in years, a craft demo, or a mini tournament you enter on a whim. Now you're present, not just passing through. Build your people plan. If you're going solo, arrange 1 coffee with an online friend or local group. Even a 20-minute link-up changes the texture of your day. If you're with a crew, split up for an hour to chase personal interests, then reconvene and share finds. Meetups thrive on timing, so pick a clear landmark and set a hard meet time. Snap photos of cosplayers with permission, mention what you love about their build, and move on. That tiny kindness makes the haul feel bigger. Finally, set a budget and a bailout. When the energy dips and the sameness creeps in, leave. The sunk cost fallacy is how you turn a decent morning into a dragdoll weekend. If the best stories are already in your camera roll and your commission tube, you've won. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most attendee frustrations aren't cosmic, they're fixable. Rotate traders and guests aggressively. Even a 25-30% swing per city refreshes the floor. Publish a tiny what we changed from last time. Note before each event. That single page buys goodwill. Upgrade volunteer onboarding from chat to checklist. Roles, radios, breaks, escalation, quiet rooms, and alcohol boundaries, especially around under 18s. Put it in writing and hand it out. Create a visible vendor compliance loop. Post your standards, do spot inspections, and this matters. Be seen doing them. If a vendor fails, act and record it. The same goes for incident reporting. Give attendees a QR code that lands on a form with an immediate ticket number and a promised response window. Even when you can't fix something on site, people feel served when they can see the pipeline. For moderation, choose sunlight over silence. If you must prune abusive replies, say so. If you're removing criticism because it contains doxing or legal claims, say that too. Better yet, respond to the core of a complaint, then invite the poster to continue via DM or email. De-escalation isn't weakness, it's control. If you see a dispute breaking out, voices raised, faces tight, distance yourself first. You don't need to be a witness to tension you didn't create. If your staff and the conflict lands at your feet, call a lead immediately. Don't referee. Ask the simplest safety questions. Is anyone at risk? Do we need security? Then lock into process. Spats ripple out fast. The goal is to protect people and resume normal service, not to win an argument with an audience. As an attendee, your play is simple. Don't film people at their worst. Don't inject yourself, and don't invent context after the fact. If the dispute affected you, say a closed area or a canceled demo, document what you lost and ask for a remedy later. You can hold organizers accountable without turning someone's worst 5 minutes into content. First timer with friends, yes. If you treat it as a sampler, artist support, photos, a panel, and a meal after. Parent with a younger fan, yes. With a short schedule, a safety check-in plan, and a calm exit strategy. Veteran who's been 7 years and wants novelty. Maybe not, unless there's a specific guest, commission, or meetup you can't get elsewhere. Budget hunter, only if you set hard rules, no mystery bags, no rare goods without verification, and no last-hour panic buys. Aspiring volunteer, yes, if you can secure a proper briefing, a buddy, and clear boundaries. Under 18, only with written confirmation of supervision protocols, accommodation details if relevant, and a parent or guardian in the loop. If those don't materialize, pass. There will always be another event that respects your time and safety. Small city cons carry a real spark when they remember their purpose. Community first, commerce second. When they forget, the cracks show. Repetition, dismissiveness, and that feeling of being processed instead of welcomed. But the fixes are not secrets. They're ordinary things done consistently. Rotate vendors, protect minors, train volunteers like they matter. Reply to criticism with specifics, and make it easy for fans to shop legitimately. None of that requires a stadium budget. It requires standards and the courage to enforce them. If you've stuck with Norwich year after year, you're not crazy for wanting more. You've given the event your time, your weekends, your cosplay builds, your wallet. You want that effort mirrored back, so here's the close. Vote with your presence and your feedback. Support the artists who show up for you. Reward organizers when they change and walk when they don't. You don't need permission to protect your experience. The question I always leave you with, if you took your favorite moment from the con and removed the venue branding, would it still be special? If the answer is yes, because it was your friends, your art, your story, then you've already found the part worth keeping. And if the answer is no, then you just discovered what needs to change next. Either way, you're in control of what you bring home. If this helped you plan smarter, drop a comment with your best small con hack or a fix you think organizers could implement this month. I'll pin the most actionable ones and add them to a living checklist for anyone hitting a city con this season. Stay safe, support artists, and I'll see you in the next one.